Industries are open for business. Will Meta Falcon team be able to find a win off that? Adding in the Kennen, the Renekton, the Diana. There is a lot of deletion potential there.
Yeah, so the interesting part is the fact that the last pick that we didn't get to touch on from Meta Falcon team was that Kennen. So even after seeing Lee Sin, they go ahead and opt into the Kennen pick, which I personally don't really like because now you essentially made a very easy kick target for Juhan, and that all he has to do is just constantly mark this Kennen pick. And given the fact that he has to play up against Hostile Takeover, most likely he just ends up playing a bit more of a passive Lee Sin playstyle when it comes to approaching team fights, unless if he has a clear kick target, which he doesn't, because if you look at across MFT, like, you're not kicking into your team a Kennen, Diana, Renekton, not even a Tristana, because Tristana can just jump out. So it just kind of comes down to maybe you try and get a pick onto this Renata early on. That could certainly do a number. But all eyes on this bottom lane, because this is the spicy duo that the side of MFT have picked in response to the Lovers Duel.
Yeah, you had to think this is at least a little bit pre-planned because of how high a prio they put on the Tristana before the next ban phase. I'm excited to see it. I like when people play weird stuff in the bot because of how, I don't want to say stale the meta has been, but certainly because of how handshaky it's been for so long with the Jinx and the Aphelios. So kudos to MFT for trying something different. I also like 665 getting a chance to play on this Diana, which has just kind of been a permaban against just about everybody, it seems. So we are underway. Level 1s don't expect too many shenanigans, but we do have to keep an eye as we don't get to see that many Renata games in this league. And we already have a trade following up. Looks like it's a slight win there for Whale and Epic.
Yeah, so the fun part here is going to be the fact that she has gone for the Glacial Augment, which means once you hit Handshake, it will also apply a very annoying slow onto you. So you can yoink people towards you because the Glacial Augment's going to proc on where they got locked down. Then it is a very difficult time to walk back towards your team.
Right. So even though they are a little bit lower in the health bar, at least Epic is right now, still threatening and getting the push in early on against the Sire of Khan. Also worth mentioning that there's a fairly interesting spread of summoner spells, right? Ignite on Kaiwing and Exhaust on both Unified and Epic, whereas Whale is rocking that Cleanse, which I do think makes a lot of sense given the amount of CC that they're facing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Exhaust makes a lot of sense here for Unified. Again, I don't think heal is very good for a lot of AD carries. I think you're much better off taking either Exhaust or Cleanse, and given that there's so much dive coming in from MFT, the extra 250 HP, 350 HP you're getting from a heal isn't going to do a whole lot for you. If you're able to time the Exhaust really well on the Diana before she unloads her entire combination, that is worth way, way more value.
Oh, that's for sure. Given the opportunity. On patch 12.4, we've seen a handful of Renata games, some of them, of course, taking place around other leagues. I believe in the LPL, the LCK have had a handful of games on that as well. Okay. Wen gets joined by 665 very briefly, just to soak a little bit of EXP. So far, continues to be a quiet early game. I mean, the Diana's not going to be involved in the ganks as early. I feel like Juhan maybe weighing his options a little bit more, but he's not necessarily been the most aggressive jungler in his debut in the early stages of the game. It's certainly been a little bit more about those team fights. He is going to run straight in 665, though. After the Scuttle Timer, that is a lot of damage right there. That's going to force the flash, but Juhan can follow, and is he going to get a solo first blood? He does. Bay will come to the rescue. I think they can trade right back. Oh, no! He flashes right out. Wen can't finish it. 2-0 for PSG Talon.
This has been one of the big things from... Oh, we're more fighting.
Into the Ignite. That's going to be enough. Oh, Epic. He's able to save his own life for just a second there.
Not enough.
But that is not enough.
actually flashing forward. I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish by flashing forward, and maybe it was a bit of a misclick and a bit of a panic flash. But it does mean that double summoners are down on this support, and anytime you are playing an enchanter support, if you lose both of your summoners, it makes for a very return gank target. So while we haven't seen any action coming in from Juhan, and he's taken typically a more passive approach to early games, even when he's given aggressive junglers like the Lee Sin, you can certainly say he's going to have a big target down on that bot lane very shortly.
Yeah, you have to think. Already getting lined up there by Kaiwing, who just has a great setup on the Rakan. Now Epic is actually going to go a roaming, but he's going to get spotted again. Has to walk the long way now, as he was hoping to get involved in the mid up against the likes of Bay, who has a level advantage over Wen. Worth noting here, Bay on this rise has been having a great time. Not going to be threatened at all. Minion DMAT to clear that final one.
Yeah, and of course, when dying there means that he misses out on CM EXP, so he's just trying to crash that wave, which at the very least is going to force out the teleport coming in from Bay. And one of the issues that 665 has had is that he tends to his pathing has been somewhat questionable at times. Not like jungle pathing itself, but just like walking around the map. He's sometimes taking shortcuts when it comes to just trying to walk through the map, and it's been punished quite mightily. That was yet another case of that, where he expends all his cooldowns to take down that Scuttle Crab, and then he meets Juhan, and yeah.
I think 665 has definitely struggled a little bit in translating his performance from both collegiate and some of the more tier 2, tier 3 cups that this squad has participated in onto the big stage. And maybe the pathing, he just got away with it a little bit more in those leagues. It's not going to fly so much in the PCS. And this time he hasn't been necessarily punished. However, Juhan's there. There's the threat. Wen can come to the rescue, but so can Bay. This time 665 has enough damage to turn it. And that is before Moonfall, by the way.
Yeah, but at the same time, while Wen was making his way over, he did get heavily chunked out.
Oh, Whale forced to flash. Nicely played by Unified and Kaiwing. Already chunked out a little bit, and oof.
Unified has level 6 too, so a lot of burst damage potential coming out, and now they're just going to set up, try and steal away this red buff. I think it's going to go over them without much trouble, although MFT, we'll see if they just decide to flip the game here.
Yeah, 665 may want the fight here. Wen has dominance on. Oh, look at that Taco going in on the Maelstrom. They will take out Juhan. Can they get even more out of it? Bay trying for the great escape. He will be able to get out over the Shelly Pit. And Hanabi covers his escape, so could have been a lot more costly, to be honest.
Yeah,
okay, 665. I don't know about that one, buddy. Yeah, he. Oh, you want to talk about sus pathing? Right there.
I'm tilted.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I really have no idea. There was no need to hop that wall.
I'm not sure if 665 is tilted, but I'm certainly tilted from watching that. And he just gifts over a kill back into the hands of PSG and is really needless. You can see him kind of laughing it on camera, but I'm not laughing about that one.
That's I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna just move on because I got nothing, man. PSG with a 2,000 gold lead at 9 minutes. Juhan can pretty freely take this Rift Herald now. We're the site of a very bizarre and very elaborate tactical int, I want to say.
But now they are set up to try and just go for a dive here because, again, 665, he just died top lane. He's going to path towards bot to clear those camps, and that means Taco, he has to give up a lot. So it is incredibly detrimental for his top laner in this situation. And I mean, 665, he's going to get himself caught out here.
Once again, comboing on, and it looks just so easy. 665 tried to get the smite down on the red for some health, stay alive longer, but Unified claims it and his life. Once again, getting a bit too greedy. Epic will try and push them back, but that's not really going to do all that much damage right now. 665 is trying a few tricks. I think he needs to go back to his own jungle and farm up, because right now it's just not working out. Kaiwing does get caught. Whale and Epic are going to get turned on by Unified, however. That's a lot of damage and forces the exhaust out of Epic. Crucial Summoner burned yet again.
Whale and Epic just not pathing in the same direction, so that's caused some issues in that trade. Of course, Unified still had that ultimate available to him, so even if they decided to jump straight onto Xayah, Xayah's still very, very safe, especially with the exhaust of his own. So right now, it's just really not been the Renata Tristana game. I mean, clearly they planned for this lane, but at the same time, the lane itself hasn't worked out because of Unified intelligently grabbing that exhaust and also just being Xayah.
I do think the farm game has not been at least out of control, and that was the worry I had looking at the Tristana, because if you get frozen out, there's not a lot you can do. You can try to like push back. Obviously, you can't freeze the lane as Tristana because of that explosive shot. So it does kind of winnow your options down from the get-go. So Whale at least has been able to keep up in the farm game. Unfortunately, Unified and Kaiwing have just really bullied out, gotten a kill for themselves apiece. And this is the extended range you can get from the Lovers duo as well. Unified is going to find even more damage onto Whale, zoning him away. This should be PSG opening up for this Infernal Drake.
Infernal left availables, they're going to turn their attention onto that, but 665 hoping that someone will path up towards that mid lane and get a pick.
Find Bay. Oh, Bay just flashes away. No Moonfall today. Juhan finishes off the dragon. It was a nice try, but not able to get anything done there. And we will have a Hex Rift this time around, Nightstar. Even more mobility.
Hex Rift is actually very interesting because it allows you to get better flank positions when it comes to setting up for these objectives. And what do you know, like MFT, this is the perfectly designed rift for them to set up plays. But like, look at the map state. They've lost top tower 5 plates, bot tower 5 plates. No plates in mid, thankfully, but I mean, your carry isn't going to be the rise, right? It's about this split push Gnar and also this lethality Xayah.
Yeah, at the moment, they are definitely needing to stop the bleeding before they can take advantage of the beneficial rift that they're going to have. Currently at 5-1 in kills. It's a pretty hefty gold lead here for PSG, but I wouldn't say it's doomed just yet, Nightstar. Not quite.
It certainly isn't quite yet, but...
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, 665. They're not gonna go for it. I think they knew he's doing this, but oof. Could have been smited away. Juhan definitely wanted to find the fight here, even the level disadvantage. And the chase is still on in the jungle while we're watching Bay and Wen down bot. What is happening? This is a bit of a wonky dance.
Certainly a very strange dance. They might collapse onto Epa. Nope. Okay.
Gotta be careful.
And
gotta be careful diving Renata.
Yeah, absolutely. If you overextend, you still can get heavily punished. And for PSG, this is exactly where they want to be in the game, right? They have advantages, all of a sudden they just immediately slow things down and just say, all right, now it's up to you to try and find picks. But we're just going to play very conservatively and slowly just choke you out. And so far, it's worked to great effect in the fact that they've been undefeated since their first game.
Yeah, this is massive. PSG, 10 wins since the 1 loss, and looking to make it 11 to round out a 6-0 week. I mean, it's difficult to try and be as consistently good as PSG have been, even more so when they have to play double the games this week because of their games being on hold last week around. And yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to see this team really return to form. I would say they have a lot of skill, but aren't necessarily the strongest in every single role. But they just have so much better map awareness, so much better macro play than really any other team in the PCS at the moment.
Yeah, they're dealing with a lot of these wonky situations very, very well, and they've been very consistent with their play, which is not what can be said about a lot of these other teams.
Yeah.
Consistency is what gets you through a regular season, and 665.
Okay, you're going to bring a lot of folks to the party here, but they are still able to turn back, and again, 665, even through the bailout, still gets deleted. Taco now trying to find an answer, but he doesn't have the damage. It's a good split from PSG. Can Wen do something? They just needed to get together a little faster, and he's run out of steam as well. Can't quite get it done. Whale and Epic will be the only people left to tell the tale as PSG clean up in the MFT jungle.
Yeah, PSG, they find the pick onto 665 once more, and while he is able to unload his cooldowns, it's not enough.
No. Oh, Big Nar! There's another bailout there, so Whale, at the very least, lives for a few seconds, question mark? I feel like at this point, Epic is kind of just like, he's just like giving everybody a Tom Kench. Like, or I guess more of a Scion passive, right? Like, just for a few seconds.
I mean, Chemtech's soul got removed, so they had to find a way to put it back in.
I remember people just being like,
this
oh, I see what
onto
you're doing, right?
665. He goes in, immediately gets exhausted. Like, there's just... Or actually, he didn't even get exhausted. He just didn't get a whole lot of damage off.
Also,
he is so far behind.
Picture-in-picture, 665 goes down yet again.
Surprise.
Oh boy. Taco TP is way too late to make anything happen here as Epic's trying to sit under tower. Whale's here as well. So much poke damage. Unified just dishing out a lot of damage now on this lethality Xayah. There's going to be a Rift Herald popped in mid. And we wash, rinse, repeat. PSG. You talked about slowing it down. They've kind of just been able to keep the pace, in all honesty. Because MFT keep opting into these fights.
Yeah, MFT... I mean, it's not even opting into these fights. They just keep getting caught out.
I guess there's that.
Not even an opportunity to fight back. Like, they don't have really any control over their own jungle. They continually get picked off. The team's just not in position to respond as well. And yeah, we get to see the replay. This was actually a lot of effort expended to kill 665, but we know if you are able to pick him off a couple of times, this team falls apart very quickly because he does go a bit on tilt.
And he goes a bit too deep right now, tries for another Moonfall, and down he goes. Oh dear. Right now, Whale now under fire, and Juhan with a kickback. That is going to be enough, even through Taco's ultimate. PSG just do not care, and MFT do not have the damage. Here's Bay to cut them off. Into Rune Prison goes Epic. And even though Wen flashes away, I think this is going to be lights out.
I have to agree.
There he goes. Oh boy. This is a little unfortunate. You know, 665 might want to just like remove a number from his name because he's 06 at this point. I don't even know if he's going to get 5 assists, excuse me. Tongue-tying myself today.
It's not a whole lot to be said here, Pyra. I think the gameplay is explaining itself for the most part.
Are you saying we're obsolete as casters?
For this
Hanabi.
Yes.
Oh, bye Taco. Youch.
Yeah.
Hanabi had a midnight snack. 665. Gonna try to collapse.
Not against Hullbreaker.
It's Hullbreaker. It's 3 level advantage. He's gonna flash. Whale and Epic are here. I mean, if Hanabi gets out or gets another kill, never mind. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Whale, he's got to bail out, but he really needed a stimulus plan because there's nothing he can do here. Finally, they shut down the Gnar, but at what cost, Nightstar? I think the answer is damn near their entire team.
It's fine. They got what they came for.
Oh boy.
I don't know what to say about this game.
I know what to say. I'm a little
analyze.
sad. I'm a little sad, Nice Star, because we're not gonna get the dancing PSG mod.
Yeah, that is a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to at least keep it interesting. And, you know, maybe MFT still lose at the end, but it would have been nice to keep him on his toes, keep the suspense going.
Yeah, this has just been. I mean, it really has been just the positioning errors, especially from 665. But there's just not much they can do. Part of it is PSG are just so damn good, and I almost feel like we're kind of getting back to that situation we were last split, even with a different mid jungle of like, oh hey, PSG really dominant. They just have better macro. I think it also helped that you had Maple and River, who were insane, but at the same time, this PSG looking good, and they are looking to close early here. Kaiwing goes in, sets up the play. 1-2, down goes Epic, down goes 665. Wen tries to get unified back, but he's stopped up for days. And Hanabi, even in Mini-Gnar, is just able to 1v2, looking for Whale, gets one. Taco can't finish the job. It's just too easy, and I think we might be on par for a very fast finish.
Oh man, it looks like we are going to. Well, I don't know if they're just going to end it here because.
No, they'll take it safe. They'll take it safe.
Yeah, the death timers aren't quite there for them.
Oh, Taco. Okay, that's one. That's two. Hey, Taco got two back, and he lives.
We did it.
All right, there you go. How's that for interesting?
I don't know if that's interesting enough.
Juhan's having a giggle afterwards. Oh my gosh, he's got himself a black cleaver, by the way.
Something happened, so you know what? We'll take it.
Yeah.
Something positive happened for MFT, and you know what? When you're in college, it's all about that PMA, Pyra. Positive mental attitude.
There you go. But I don't know if they're going to get much out of this particular play. What a dive setup from Kaiwing. They can go deep with the Rakan. Wen tried so hard to carve off a couple of turkey legs, but he just couldn't get anything. And even Hanabi soloing out onto the Tristana. I mean, that's how you know something's gone a little wrong there. I mean, Gnar can dish a lot of damage, but still starving MFT out of their own jungle, out of their own base. Baron should be pretty free here. I would think they might just start it up.
Yeah, I mean, they can pretty much do whatever they want. Hanabi, at the very least, gone for the try-first build, so it means that he can go ahead and just 1v1 to 80 carry with that level advantage, of course, and Whale, he's gone for the Kraken Slayer to try as he might get a kill. But now it's going to be that round warp up in the top lane. They have someone should go back to get the other minions, but I think this will be the final push, Pyra.
No minions, no problem. They can shred through this tower like it is made of paper. Looking for a 23-minute close here for PSG, trying to bait MFT into a fight. In fact, there is actually a back coming through, and that is going to be the Rise, as Bait picks up a Frozen Heart, teleports straight back in on top of the minion. Pretty confident to be able to do that, and MFT just kind of forming themselves into a bit of a turtle shell, and oh boy, the damage. Whale has to walk it back to the fountain again. They need to find a desperation fight. You can't just roll over and let yourself get taken out, but so little damage on their side and so much on the opposite team. Here's the desperation. Taco gets into the back, but he just doesn't do enough. And meanwhile, Whale and Epic were forced out. That's going to be the closer. It's just Whale and Epic, but they cannot defend even from fountain points. And even Kaiwing's getting into the mix with a double kill. PSG will close out their Super Week 6-0, and they stand alone atop the PCS.